May 13th, 2025, President Trump arrives in Saudi Arabia. His limo is slowly driving through the city of Riyadh, where he's meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince, when it passes a building nearby where TikTok user Randall Gulina7 made a remarkable observation.
In Saudi Arabia, that is his limo. This limo pulls in. I want you to look on this side of the screen. There's going to be a building right here, and you're going to see something black shoot up and then shoot across the screen.
Last week on my program, they can dismantle it nicely or we can dismantle it viciously. Looks like it's going to be viciously against the backdrop of very important.
Did you see it?
Of this alliance. They can dismantle it nicely or we can dismantle it viciously. Looks like it's going to be viciously against the backdrop, a very important backdrop of this alliance. Or we can dismantle it viciously. Looks like it's going to be viciously against the backdrop, a very important.
Here's the same piece of footage being reviewed on YouTube, uploaded by the New York Post, and you can see the footage is cut just before the dark object is seen. Perhaps it's just an editing coincidence. In this next footage, you'll review from 2005 a UFO conference where Jaime Maussan is presenting footage from Mexico of alien beings.
Hire to get that virus from the computer because they were afraid they were going to lose this. The only images they kept for security reasons. They didn't make a single copy out of the video for security reasons. And for that, they hired these people, and these people took the photographs, the images, without the military knowing this. They presented the 6 images in a site, insidior.com, for some months in the internet, and suddenly, one day, Insidior just went away. Nobody knows what happened to it. I don't know if the military discovered this or what happened. But we have, or were able to copy all these images. Even though it's not a case that we have investigated, and it's a case that happened in Mexico, it's very much related to the other cases, and that's why I want to present this to you. Okay. In the first image, we have 2 creatures, 2 beings. This is, time is 31 seconds, 13, and you have 2 creatures like communicating to each other. One of them seems to be 3-dimensional. Can we prove that? No. In the next image, this image was presented at the Rense site, saying that this was a hoax. Frame is 2036, time 1 minute and 7 seconds, and we see this creature behind the plants and the tree, the leaves of the tree, and moving some kind of object. We concentrated in this besides the shape of the creature. If this is a hoax, then this creature, this dummy, has to be expensive because it's flexible and very credible, very, very good model. Or if it's real, of course. Then, as we analyze that, we were able to get the shape of the object. And here we can see very clearly, oh, jeez. Oh. It doesn't stop. No. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see this again. Okay. Here you can see very clear the object that is hanging or moving with the right hand. You cannot see that in the original image. I believe this is somehow a proof that this is real. Otherwise, if you are going to hoax this, you will make it very evident, whatever this is being done. But here we have some kind of instrument that is being handled by this creature. Here you have this image 7 seconds later. It's like if the camera was surprised by the presence of this creature, like he moved the camera away from the place he was recording because this creature was getting closer. The center of the shot is right here. This is the center, and the creature is here looking for him. Here it's clearer. In the next shot, you can see, you can see that the creature is coming closer, looking for the man who is using the infrared. Okay? And the man is now on his knees trying to hide from this creature. You see? I think these creatures can see in infrared. That's why. Now you see that the creature is going away. The last one was a minute and 40 seconds. That's 26 seconds after the other. This is 34 seconds. He's still trying to hide, looking through the holes of the fence. And this creature is like going away. And finally we see the last picture, 2 minutes and 27 seconds from the beginning, and you see the craft coming for them, and they are going away. For me, it looks very coherent. It looks like these 6 pictures relate a story. It's very easy to discredit them, very easy, but I think they are real. Next case. There were 50 people in a party in a farm outside Monterrey, Mexico, when an animal went inside the farm. They didn't have a lamp, then they used the camera, the flash of the camera, to try to find the animal. They weren't taking pictures. You can see that clearly because you can see part of a car here. It's more like they are trying to see through the light of the flash. But when you take this picture, and you can really, with a Photoshop, try to light it up, you can see something strange. It's away, but looking to them. In the next, it's the same kind of thing, but now you see this creature, or whatever it is, going away, running. And in the third one, this man is trying to get the attention of the man with the flash, saying, "Look, the animals inside. They are afraid. Put the light there." He is Fernando Cárdenas, and the man with the camera is Iván Geraldo Cisneros. And they got this picture, but then next day, they saw something in the back. You see, we have analyzed this. Could this be a dummy? Yes. Could this be a hoax? In the camera, in the image, no. It's not a hoax in the image. Exactly like the last case. It's not a hoax in the image. Can they be dummies? Yeah. It's very difficult to go against that. I mean, but when you have so many cases, we have 2 so far. What's the size? We believe is a yard or 80 centimeters, something like that. My friend Dan Iria helped me, he's around, I don't know if he's here, but he made an analysis on these pictures, and his conclusion was that this was real. He couldn't say again if this is a dummy or something like that, but was not hoaxed in the image. Yeah. The eyes, are you done? I don't hear you. What if we finish and you ask me that same question? Okay? Let me continue because my time is running.
I want to end this video clip from a conference explaining how the Dulce underground base was confirmed under the Archuleta Mesa. Phil Schneider was self-proclaimed part of the Dulce underground base battle, which is said to have taken place with alien beings. I suggest if you haven't seen it already to watch his story, as it's nothing short of fascinating.
Come to public light was due to the efforts of a man by the name of Paul Benowitz. Benowitz, who worked for a company called the Thunder Corporation, began in his investigations to be harassed by government agents, but also he began to get very unusual readouts on his computer. And Benowitz actually claims that he was in contact with some form of alien intelligence that was coming to him from a computer that claimed to be based inside the Dulce Archuleta Mesa. Benowitz had flown over the mesa and actually came up with a map of the various entrances for where the saucers could come and go from out of the mesa. Now, subsequent investigators have found 2 engineers who claim to have actually built the place in 1953. We interviewed 14 eyewitnesses who claimed that they went under hypnosis. These were women. A number of the women had little children as well who were also abducted along with them. But in this investigation, these 14 eyewitnesses who claimed to have been abducted claimed to have actually been inside the mesa. There's also a sort of legendary figure, a fellow who is called Thomas C. This fellow Thomas C. supposedly worked as a security guard inside the base and escaped in the late 1970s with a videotape that was 6 minutes of a security camera that basically ran back and forth over a large hall in which there were these ambionic sacks where there appeared to be actual aliens in the sacks and unusual devices on the walls. So the explanation behind this was that in 1953, supposedly some sort of deal was struck between the United States government and this particular group of aliens. We don't know which bunch. Supposedly they're from Zeta Reticuli. And that in 53 we allowed them to have certain underground bases in which they could do certain types of genetic experimentation and energy experimentation in league with the U.S. military, and that in 1953 the Dulce Mesa was put together. That in 1979, a disagreement took place between the United States government and said aliens. The Dulce base reportedly was set up to be between 7 and 12 levels. That eyewitnesses have said or stated to us that the base was approximately about 450 feet down because they were taken inside elevators when the ships would land, when they would take the people that were being abducted in the back way. Usually the ships would come down the vents and come into a large hangar area, but a number of the abductees described being taken in a back way and down an elevator and then down some stairs. That this thing was supposedly 450 feet below ground and that it seemed to extend out with a power source at the center. When this disagreement occurred between the U.S. military and the aliens because the aliens had basically gotten farming rights to this planet in exchange for nothing more than a few Model Ts, in essence a couple of saucers that they gave us to take apart and figure out how they work and what have you. They apparently gave us the code to breaking the human genome or the human RNA DNA structure, which then allowed us to be able to do all kinds of genetic engineering and crossbreeding human beings with animals and different types of animals, which was supposedly what was going on in concert with the Los Alamos Atomic Energy and Genetics Research Lab in Los Alamos, New Mexico. That when the disagreement occurred, the military insisted on certain types of weapons. The aliens themselves then said, no, we're not going to give you weapons, we'll give you the ships, but we're not going to give you the weapons. The military supposedly at the same time broke into a number of different underground levels, which the aliens had kept secure and to themselves and somewhat secret from their military partners. And then when they broke into these levels, they found that the levels were just strewn with bodies of either misbegotten genetic experiments or human beings that they didn't want to put back and had bled dry and thrown down into these underground levels. The U.S. military then said to the aliens, get out of our bases, get off our planet. The aliens supposedly then said, oh yeah, make us. We then sent in a Delta Force team to try to get them out. 66 Delta Force members died. The scientists supposedly were then there. Now, let me tell you, as far as what we did as far as Dulce goes. Now, we wanted to come up with abject physical proof that an alien base actually existed. Well, how exactly do you do that? We figured out a way to actually ultrasound the Dulce Mesa. We took things up to the Mesa to see if we could find specifically a power source. So myself, Jim Delatoso, Joe Randazzo all went to the Dulce Archuleta Mesa. Now, what we were looking for was electrical outputs, and we wanted to see how our sound or our sonic would interact with any sort of electrical outputs that were coming from inside the mesa. But the actual blocks that you're about to see are the various areas where we placed transceivers that were hooked up into 9-volt batteries that we buried into the ground that were pulsing this sonic tone. Also, Dr. Delatoso found a way to run the sound through a synthesizer by running a number of tones up and down and then recording them on DAT tape. Right here, he's showing the exact area of frequency as to how far out the ultrasounds went. Right here, you can see the area of dispersion of what we were zeroing in on. So this area right in through here is the area that you can see that was ultrasounded through the test. Now remember, one of the things that we were searching for is we were searching for a source of electric or electromagnetic energy and a penumbra to that electromagnetic energy as well. A lot of the contactees and abductees the abductees specifically had stated that they had witnessed a central power source inside the mesa itself. The vertical lines that you see on the side are the rock faces, but you see that big red glow right in the center? That, folks, is an atomic reactor right in the middle. This atomic reactor is approximately, once again, 450 feet down. The structure itself is about 250 feet high. The green penumbra that you're seeing that runs from either side, which could have shown literally a tunnel or some sort of causeway or railroad system that runs lower to the left. The green flat areas that you are seeing would be indicative of levels or electricity that was being wired throughout a number of levels. So we discovered, in essence, an atomic pile underneath the Dulce Archuleta Mesa that was military standard, that seemed to have levels, that seemed to have a causeway or a railroad system running through the base, exactly like everybody said.